Hello and welcome to another digital marketing stream hosted by Explosion Ninja and myself, Dale Davies, the head of marketing at said digital marketing agency. Today we're going to be doing live website reviews where you send your website to us and we review it live on stream. We'll tell you how to increase your ranking, how to increase your traffic, leads, e-commerce sales, you name it, we'll try and help you to get there. And with our new format, we're running for 90 minutes, so stay along and join the chat and tell me where you're watching from for the next 90 minutes. For the first hour, we're going to have a couple of guests on. And then for the final 30 minutes, we'll just pull some websites submitted via the form in the description down below if you're watching us on YouTube. But it should be there also on LinkedIn, Facebook, all those lovely platforms. We'll just pull some at random and see how many we can review within that 30-minute time slot. I'm not doing this alone, though. Today, I am joined by Jess Percival.
Hi. Hello. Thanks for, I don't know why I say thanks for having me on the stream, because I'm here all the time. So thanks for having me on the stream again.
Couldn't possibly do it without you.
Not removing me from said stream.
It's good to have you. And how is your day going so far?
It's going really well. I'm so motivated. For anybody who's here, maybe who follows my Twitter, I don't think anybody does, writing a guide for Ian about Google Analytics 4. And if you want to know how many changes there are on Google Analytics 4, there's at least 112 pages worth. So sorry, Dale, because you've got to edit.
Just a few words, right?
It's just a couple of things, but it's nearly there. I'm super proud of it. And even if you're not thinking about moving over to Google Analytics 4 yet, definitely worth giving it a read, because you're going to be forced to move to it and all its massive changes all in one go next year. So definitely give that a read. We'll let you know when it's up, and I think we'll be doing a stream about it later as well. The other thing I just wanted to say is I'm hosting a webinar, very exciting, on Friday about how your business can use TikTok. And if the word TikTok puts you off, it's basically about how to use short video for your business. And we're focusing on businesses like property, law, vet services, like things that aren't like glamorous businesses that you wouldn't expect to necessarily see thriving on a social media platform in the way that these examples are. So yeah, now I've talked about a million things and my background seems to be saying a lie.
It looks like you're sitting on the edge of the surface of the sun.
It really does. Sorry, I don't know why that's happening, but yeah. Anyway, please.
No, it's all good.
Take back the reins.
You get a big blackout curtain. We won't have any sunlight in here.
Yeah.
It could be gloomy like I am here in Edinburgh. Daniel, lovely to see you, as well as Gabriel and Phil. It's fantastic to have you as always. If you are active in the chat, you'll be entered for a prize draw for our book, How to Get to the Top of Google. Nice little paperback copy, which we will post to you. If not, you can get a free ebook version via explosionninja.com/YouTube, and you'll be able to just get a copy straight away. Gabrielle, it says you look like you're in heaven. Well,
I'm always in heaven when I'm streaming with you, Dale. So there you go.
Stop. Oh my gosh. The love is shared all around.
Indeed.
Excuse me. Well, again, we're not doing this alone. We actually have a third person here today, and they are responsible for this website here. So this is the Tortoise Property website. If you recognize that name, it's because Tortoise Property is a lovely regular to our channel, and is going to be joining us on stream today. Hello, Donovan.
Hello, Dale. Hello, Jess. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely buzzing to finally speak with you face to face rather than via text.
Yeah. It's good.
It's exciting. So yeah, you submitted your website for review, and it'd be great to help you out with a couple of questions you might have about your website. So perhaps you'd like to hit us with your first question. What would you like to know more about?
Well, I mean, landing page obviously is a big factor for us. We're in an industry whereby we have 4 groups that are going to use our service, 2 of which fit in as customers and 2 consumers, 2 payers, 2 users. So first and foremost, if you've never heard of us before, we want to make sure we're hitting the mark when it comes to landing on our homepage first, and you know where to go to get to the service you're looking for. So first things first, I suppose, would be asking you, do you think we hit the mark straight off the bat?
First of all, I think that I immediately know what your website is about. Like I come on here and I know what you're pitching. The main kind of thing, this is kind of secondary to your above the fold discussion, but it's the menu. I would definitely have some of these items in there so they're immediately visible. Anyone who's a digital native will instinctively look for the main menu and think, okay, I want to go directly to homes to buy or homes to let, or I want tenant, homeowner, and so on. But separating that away, yeah, I think this area above the fold is pretty clear when it comes to you're an estate agent in Peterborough. Makes total sense. I think everything after that is a little bit too messy for my liking. I would probably be a lot clearer with some of these, just because you've got so many different kind of shapes and formats, and there's a lot that you're trying to cover very quickly. Now, having worked with estate agents before, I know that, yeah, you do run into that area of, okay, I've got two types of, two buyers, essentially, two avatars, whatever you want to call it. How do I navigate them to the right areas? You might simply just keep it even simpler than this, than just to have two buttons, and some of this additional stuff you put lower down. So, for example, if I was designing this website from today, I'd move a lot of this stuff to the left-hand side and maybe put some of your social proof on the right-hand side. So I can think of an example from our website when it comes to, bear with me, let me find it. So, it would help if I could spell. I would have typed that for you. Yeah, I would have typed that for without any troubles whatsoever if it wasn't for everybody watching. But so similar to this, quick statement of what it is that we are, what we do, a kind of backup subheading or paragraph, which just gives people a little bit extra to read. And you've got that social proof on the right hand side, which is there as a backup to kind of suggestively say this is the website for you, and then have the call to action beneath. In your case, I would do something like have two buttons side by side, have one as your primary CTA, so the audience you're trying to communicate with the most, and then the one on the right hand side, which we call a ghost button, which is kind of like an empty button with no coloring or anything like that for your secondary audience, which is less of a priority. So this up here is a ghost button where it's not filled with color or anything like that. Bear with me, I have touched my earphone and accidentally turned on the music. If anyone wants to listen to some German black metal, hit me up.
Every time.
Let me just see where the pause button is. There we go.
This happens nearly every single time Dale and I have a meeting, but I think it's the first time it's happened on stream.
Sorry. Anybody for German black metal? So yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are comparing, these two sites between like what you see above the fold here and what we see with the Tortoise Property website.
Yeah, I mean, in our case, sort of the two primary buttons we have in the center is obviously the biggest CTAs we want people to be reaching, which is engaging with us to get their property valued, whether it's a landlord trying to get an idea of where the rental value sits or someone obviously looking to sell their property. However, we do offer two kinds of valuation in order to do that, hence the buttons are so prominent. One being a quick win for doing an online valuation to give you a rough estimate. Hi, Dale. And one being one to get that bespoke one-to-one appointment booked sort of out the gate without doing the legwork of filling in forms, etc.
Right.
So that's the reason why they're so prominent in the center, just so it's not mixed.
I'm thinking in terms of like minimalism. So how you strip this back to the bare essentials so that there is less confusion, not necessarily confusion, but there's less ambiguity about what people should be doing next. So there's something called the attention ratio, where people have like so many things put in front of them, they don't really know where to focus their eyes, let alone what call to action you want them to click on. I think this is just a little bit too busy in terms of design, and I would maybe just shift things around. If I can ask, is this the traffic you get, is it mainly desktop or mobile?
It's becoming slightly more desktop now. It was quite heavily mobile focused for a while, but then a lot of the traffic we receive are people who will be looking for what's available to buy or to let, rather than the customers, if you will. Our traffic is more consumer than customer, in effect. So it's that journey of I'll have 60 seconds break from either not doing the work I'm supposed to be doing or I'm on my lunch break, and I'll see what properties are available, come off the site again. Whereas for the customer side of things for us, We want people to be spending that time. So typically a desktop user will be more valuable than a mobile user for us.
Okay. Yeah, because the impression I got from the design here is more mobile focused because of the hidden menu, because of the kind of like layout you've chosen. Jess, how are you feeling about above the fold area?
Yeah, I think it does feel a little bit too busy for me, which is a shame because you've got such good stuff in there. You've got your like social proof in terms of the like what they called certifications and the governing bodies that you have, and you also have those really nice like Google and Facebook reviews as well that you can all see above the fold. But yeah, it's just a little bit hectic, and I think you could even lose the photo. And I know it's important, you know, sort of the background photo. And I know we always say, you know, you've seen enough flash streams, and I'm always like, what is this website about? You know, at a glance. But you've got all the other things in place there that are like your estate agent in Peterborough. Straight away, we know what you do, even if you don't have that very nice photo of the room. Because it does, just for me, it kind of adds to the cluster. And I honestly think if you just took that photo away and had like a plain background, it would totally like change your website. And I think Dale would probably agree, even though it's not a scroller, which, you know, we don't like. It's still it's just quite busy. There's so many different colors there. It just sort of detracts away from everything else.
Sure.
Yeah, the other thing that I guess I would say is this page is very positioned towards your people who are landlords who might want a rent valuation, or people who are looking to sell their house, whereas obviously the buyers and the renters are kind of left out here unless they go to the logo. So there's definitely an opportunity, even if they're sort of almost more of your secondary base. If you are focusing more on this, you could have like a little button at the top that kind of says, are you a renter or a buyer? That then takes them to a different landing page, kind of what this is so out of it, but on Airbnb, where they have their like become a host button. Because people know if they've landed on your page and they are looking to rent, they'll click there. So that is another thing. But like I said, really like all the social proof. It makes me super happy. And I like that you've got all the like governing bodies. It makes me feel like you're a trustworthy company. So there's lots of good stuff here. Sorry, Dale is trying to remove the background image, I think. On
no, I wasn't trying to remove the background image, but I can do that if that's what you like.
Well, maybe. Oh my goodness. So hectic.
There we go, image. Oh my gosh.
It didn't work. Okay, so that does't work in this case, but you know, it's one of those things. Dale might find a way.
Gonna think of another way of doing this.
Hey, even if we can't do it today, it's still definitely an option. The thing that I think...
That's agreed.
Indeed.
I'm trying to do a workaround. It's not working.
Yeah, I think it's not working. It's okay. We can leave it for today. I think it's all good. But you can already see, I mean, I was going to say you can already see that it helps everything stand out, but it's not so easy to kind of describe it in this context. But yeah, honestly, you can. I think you can lose the photo, and I think Dale will in fact agree, but he might not.
Yeah, personally, I would focus on these two buttons because I think if a button is well designed, you don't need to tell people to click on it.
Sure.
So so what we've learned from a lot of A/B testing. So obviously we deal with hundreds of websites. A lot of A/B testing. It comes down to just the simplicity of things. Like the more minimal a website becomes, the more driven people are to click the more obvious button that a button is a button. I mean, there are other options as well. I mean, I was just looking around at some of the estate agents close to me who have, you know, drop down so you can choose, you know, which part of the city you're in, or, you know, free online valuation in 39 seconds, or arrange an accurate valuation. Like those two buttons stand out so quickly to me. I don't really care about the office building in the background, which I've walked past plenty of times, but they've got their core messaging really simple without, you know, when you load the page, it's kind of obvious what your eye is going to be drawn to. And there's a kind of similar, like, this is actually really similar to how your website is in many ways. Like, you've got a centralized heading, which could be better, a subheading, which is pretty clear about award-winning solicitors. That's great, and estate agents. But the call to action stands out so much because of the choices of colors, the color opposites between this. They've got a color wheel out and said, which is an opposite color to the green that's going to stand out. Arrange an accurate valuation as a backup CTA for people who don't want to do the on valuation and to find your new home. Do you have the option of adding something like this, the finding new home location kind of search?
I mean, potentially. I mean, we're fortunate that the site we have has been built from the ground up. It's not it's not limited by a WordPress engine or anything like that. It is bricks and mortar, quite literally, coded from the ground up. So we do have the flexibility to do something like that. I mean, the only thing I would say is, do you detract from what the core CTAs would be above the fold? We do have 2 search buttons available straight away above the fold. If you want to go look at what we have available for sale, it's down there. Same for lettings as well.
Now, for me, this doesn't really stand out as much as a searchable button. It looks more to me like a USP bar. So my initial impression when I'm looking down here, it's not necessary. It's more like an advertisement of for sale or selling your property. They feel less like buttons or searches than they are.
Sure.
Well, yeah. That's definitely one thing I would probably review, is how you make these stand out maybe more.
Yeah, so we have to tweak the styles, right?
Yeah, do you know what I would really recommend is just A/B testing just everything above the fold up to here, because I love this social proof. I mean, I'm sure we could discuss further about some of this other stuff about social media. I don't know how many people follow estate agents on social media. I mean, I've just been in a year-long hunt for a house, and I've not followed any estate agents on social media because it's just not.
Well,
my instinct is not drawn to follow an estate agent. I mean, perhaps you'd explain a little bit about what that's there for.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it can vary from agent to agent in terms of the offering, I guess. But I mean, we're quite active social media wise. I mean, certainly Facebook, and we're going to be dipping our toe into LinkedIn for that that professional level, due to the nature of being able to target your market by income bracket and things like this. So. Yeah, quick idea who's probably a homeowner, etc. I mean, Facebook-wise, with 2,500 likes on the page, we've also got a community group where people like yourself, Dale, if people are house hunting and can't find what they want, well, any properties we have available, we have an open forum for advice, but also you get hands-on sneak peeks at properties that are coming on before they go to the mass public on the likes of Rightmove and things like this. So you actually be alerted to properties for what you're kind of looking for before everybody else. So you get in first.
I see. Okay. Would you say that the ROI has been there from the social media stuff enough that it would take this prominent a place on your homepage?
I would say my ROI is enough from it. I mean, we get quite consistent engagement through social media. We've actually had a point of where a couple of people have then gone on to view a property and purchase through social alone in the past. So arguably, I would say, yeah, due to our prominence that we have in our space.
Okay, so yeah, just go back to my recommendations for this would definitely be, let's start just one thing at a time. You've seen our fix and rebuild streams, as Gabrielle has said here. Gabrielle would say it was a fix. So we're talking tweaks here rather than like a full redesign. I would start with just tweaking the above the fold and just see if you can A/B test that against your organic traffic that may be coming through, or your social traffic that may be coming through, or your PPC traffic, and just see what works. And I would definitely put it up against an A/B test that's similar in design to this, just above the fold area. I would say this area down to the search. If you could add the search, brilliant. If not, no problem. But just this area, the main menu, the area above that, the header basically, and these two buttons, I think you could do better in terms of heading, subheading here, and you've got those great social proof badges. If you did something like this, including that lovely standing out telephone number, I think you'd see a bigger conversion rate. I'm not saying it's going to like triple, quadruple, or be like a 10% conversion rate, but I think it's going to convert better than what you've got currently. But that's just a I guess. Let's test it and find out.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. Well, thank you ever so much for coming on. We've got our next guest lined up, and I'm going to switch over to their website next. Thanks so much for coming on, and hopefully see you in the comments in a few minutes' time.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks, Jess. Thanks,
Dale.
Dale.
Thanks so much, Simon. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Super cool. So we do have another person lined up, and it's Donovan.
Indeed.
Okay. I'm going to get their website just up on here now. So
Lovely.
here we go.
Yes. So we have Matt
looks like-
from A1 Professional Accounting coming on in a moment. And obviously, similar type of thing. We're going to be asking him a few questions about the website and any challenges that he may be facing, and thinking about any advice we might be able to give him.
Matt, are you with us?
Hello, Dale. Yes, I am. Thank you very much for taking the time to review my website.
Absolute pleasure. We're looking forward to review the website. I'm good. I've brought it onto the stream now. Can you see it from where you are on your phone?
Yes, I can.
Magic. Okay, so let's start off. What would you like to ask about your website? What's the first question that comes to the top of mind?
Oh, I think there's a few issues. Probably I need to sort of move the contact us to the top part of the website as well as the bottom. I've read that is a good way as people scroll down your website, they don't want to have to then scroll all the way back up to the top. And probably keep that where the number is, where it's blue, if you can see it's to my left. I think that should be a different color and moved probably to the right next to it says email us. And then in terms of other things, it's just the user friendliness of it and the usability of it. I've looked at some competitors, having read your great book on getting to the top of Google. But as I'm not a technical person, I had someone else look at one of your partners, and they said something about the coding in it would be difficult, so you need to go back to the people that developed your website. But they did an okay job with the website, but they're a little bit useless. So it's more just to get a feel for what you guys think might improve it even further than the changes I need to make, which I've read through your book.
Okay. You think is your focus more on conversions for the traffic you're already getting, or improving the amount of traffic that you're getting now?
Probably both. The traffic has improved now that I know how to use Google Analytics and so forth, which I didn't know how to use before. I have seen the traffic increasing. Interestingly enough, I'm getting more traffic from the USA than I am from the UK. So I don't know if there's tips that you might have to drive more traffic from the UK, obviously.
Interesting. Yeah. But how are you tracking your keywords at the moment?
I've got another company that a guy that's a marketing professional that does sort of the SEO. But from what I can see, not knowing a whole lot about it other than what I've been researching recently, there is keywords there. But I think if I'm not mistaken, SEMrush tells you sort of your top 10 words, or if you're on the top 10 pages of Google. But I'm not sort of tracking anywhere near you want to ideally be on the first page, but if not, page 2 or page 3. But it's hard to gauge. There's a lot of marketing companies out there.
Yeah, just have a quick look at your ranking and see how things are looking. So this is with SEMrush. So this only can really tell you what is discovered when it's doing searches for other keywords for other companies, and it's showing that you may be coming for A1 professional services. Let's see if I can blow this up so everyone can see it a bit better. Yeah, A1 professional services, accountant for small business London. That's in roughly the 71st position, so quite far down. It's not really showing any keywords that you might be getting a lot of US traffic for in terms of like UK traffic. Let's have a little look. Accountants, Twickenham, quality company formations, A1 company services, but really low position. So it looks like you're not really ranking for any of the core keywords that you want to be ranking for. So it's definitely an area of focus. So that's going to come down to your landing pages, such as like financial accounting services. Let's have a quick look at this. Financial accounting services, H1 tag, financial accounting services. Pretty text heavy. Doesn't really feel like a sales page in terms of like, okay, this is the website for you. This is, just send me your information. So I'm thinking about like other landing pages that we could compare this against, because I think maybe if you are getting traffic, it doesn't look like you're getting quite enough yet. When they're coming through, there's not a super, there's not like a great above the fold lead capture item for them. So just looking for example. Jess, do you have any observations so far?
Yeah. I mean, what we're kind of talking about in terms of traffic and Google position, as much as Dale is sort of discussing now about how adding images, etc., can help this page make you sales, it also, having images and stuff that's a bit more engaging means that people would stay on the page for longer, therefore signifying to Google that your page is useful. Whereas if people are going on your page and clicking directly off it, then the Google algorithm kind of thinks, maybe this page isn't providing good information about financial accounting services for small businesses. I mean, Google has more than 200 ranking signals, so it's hard, there's so many different things, but these are a few of the things that we can help with. And I mean, one thing that we know works super, super well is video, because it keeps people on the page for quite a while actually watching the video. So even if you had a quick video about who you are and why you're a great choice for small businesses, that is also fab. A couple of the other things that you kind of touched on yourself, Matt, but I actually didn't notice the phone number when we first went on the website, because I automatically looked over to the email list and thought, maybe they just don't really do phone calls. And then when you actually pointed it out, I was like, it is there. So I think that is like it. Just that one tiny change could make a huge difference. Just because
definitely.
Yeah, so many people now are so used to looking over to that right side, or over here if my camera was right, looking over to the right side to see where the contact information is. Yeah, of course, this website that we were showing a few moments ago, immediately you're like, yes, that's where I can call. Me, personally, I love to email, so it makes me happy when there's an email button, because I'd much rather send an email than make a phone call most of the time. So yeah, that's just one thing that I think is super important. And then the last thing I'd just like to say is on that homepage, there's not really too much for me about why I should go with your company as opposed to someone else, in terms of like what really helps you stand out and what really makes you the firm for small businesses. This is something I always say, but you currently have stock images, which, it looks like stock images. Super apology if it's not. But it's nice to know, especially if you're a smaller business, who am I going to be speaking to? Who's going to be handling, the accounts for my small business, since that seems to be who you're targeting. It's just nice to have that little extra personal feel. But that's what I would say about your website. Hopefully some of that was helpful.
Definitely. Thank you, Jess.
You're very welcome. What have you been up to, Dale, while we're chatting?
So I've been looking around at a couple of other lead generation websites, some previous clients, some websites that we've designed, and just looking through to see how they've been set up. Now, Chaz is one of the clients at the moment they've been working with, and we've helped them increase their conversion rate. And I think that's a lot to do with that initial offering above the page. And I'm always talking about how that should be offered on every landing page. So in your case, you might have a page for tax return services or VAT year-end accounts, stuff like that, which is what we've helped another accountancy website do. They had a landing page at each of the services. So somebody searching let's say here in Edinburgh, because that's the first place I can think of, is searching for tax returns Edinburgh, or tax return help Edinburgh, accountant Edinburgh. You want those kinds of landing pages to come up. And then when they do, the first thing they see is, here's who we are, this is why we should be trusted, and this is what we got to do next. So yeah, my first thing, if you want to increase your conversion rate, is get rid of the slider because sliders are just bad for conversion rates overall, and just replace it with something above the fold. Not this one, but something like this, or thinking of like some of the other websites that we've built more recently, like Regain Hearing. So just above the fold, you immediately know, okay, specialist hearing clinics in London and Kent, some secondary information about what kind of services are being offered, and then there's a form on the right hand side. Again, a bit of social proof, telephone number easy to find, or find your nearest practice in this case. So there's a lot of like, just before we even go any further down the page, there's a lot that people immediately see that will think, okay, maybe they'll immediately know whether this is the business for them or not. And then you can talk about, all of the great reasons to go with you, your unique selling points as you scroll further down the page.
Excellent.
Brilliant. So we've still got a little bit more time. Let's have another look through your website. So Accountants in East London. Are you building out pages for individual parts of East London as well?
Yes, it's in the who we help section.
Okay.
To the right.
We help.
Yeah,
right,
then there's areas we cover. So yeah, I've got quite a few.
It's hidden here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe a little bit of work needs to be done on the main menu as well, because we already got it doubling down like this. Even when I scroll out, it doesn't.
It doubles down.
Yeah, it doesn't sort itself out. But you've got like Beckton, so Accountants Beckton. I think just a few tweaks here again above the fold area. Now I've had to zoom out a fair bit to make things work. But yeah, just this area above the fold needs tweaking so that when people get on here, they're not just being given a lot of information. They need to be able to skim this really quickly and understand who it is you are, what it is you offer, and why they should choose you over other people, and give them an immediate call to action of, I'm not sure if you're offering a free consultation, but driving people to a contact form when the contact form could be here on the page is an extra click which people are probably not going to want to do.
Exactly. Yes. No, I agree. Oh yeah, I am offering a free consultation. I've just got to work out how to put the that on that page or on the home page, on each page.
Yeah, I would just plaster it everywhere above the fold.
Yeah,
and I think
above the fold.
Yeah, you get a lot more conversions that way. But I think there's also a bit of work to be done in terms of how we use this copy that you've had, that you've written or written yourself, and how we use that to tell a slightly different story than it's telling now. So this looks like it's been written for SEO, because we have the use of business consulting in Beckton account preparation in Beckton. Like I can see the signs. I've been doing this long enough.
No, correct.
How you weave that into a landing page, which has a flow that turns into conversions. I'm trying to think of an example from.
So is there too much information on that, Dale?
It can be.
It looks like a lot to me, but that's what my SEO guy's done. And when I look at it, I think, I wouldn't, personally, if I went on a website like that, I probably wouldn't read
it really depends. It really depends, because you've got people spending a fair bit of money, especially if you have them on a retainer, so every year you help them out, or however that works. Some people might need a bit more information, or some people might go more with gut instinct on just how the website looks alone. This website looks professional. I like the look of them. Their social proof is there. They're registered with this accounting guild or Royal Association of Accountants or Chartered Accountants and stuff like that. All that evidence is there that this is a high-profile professional company with all of the backing, the backup that they need. I don't even have to read all this stuff. I can just skim it and I know immediately this is the business for me. So you've got two choices. This comes down to really knowing your customer. We've got a new video coming out next week about buyer personas and how you understand their mentality and what kind of questions they're asking, and then how you give them that information in your copy. So that'd be useful to watch. But yeah, I think personally we could do the same amount of copy if necessary, because it might not necessarily be needed for SEO ranking. I think links might be a bit more necessary here, but we might be able to just get like more of a sales copy, minimal. It's really hard. This is the kind of thing I've been doing SEO for 10 years, and I still know that my gut instinct from a sales and conversion point of view is minimal copy, really clear calls to action. And then the SEO side of me is like, fill it with 5,000 words and, you know, so you got to find that kind of happy middle ground. So it might be a bit of testing required, but yeah, I think if you're trying to focus on conversions and you've got the rankings in place, then yeah, minimal is probably the way to go. I'm trying to find an example.
So if you sort of set it up as like a market stall, so people want to come back for more, as an example, would that be better, do you think?
Yeah,
so I'm thinking.
Sorry.
Go on, Jess.
All I was going to say is one thing that a line that I write in my blogs regularly is that you want your website to be like your best salesperson who works 24 hours a day whenever anybody might be at 4 a.m. sweating because they haven't got their freelance account sorted. They need to speak to an accountant, you know? And so
Yes.
You want your website to be as good as yourself or your best salesperson, and really do that job. What kind of questions do they ask? Like, do your customers ask you or ask your salespeople? How can you answer them in the easiest way? Because I suppose if you think and you look at your website now, is that how you would answer some of those questions that you might be asked with an answer that long? And of course, we're talking about SEO, and you know, Dale's done SEO for absolutely years, so some of these things are built into him. But for me, who's a bit of a newbie, I'm like, how can we write for people, and how can we connect with people? So you've sort of got both sides of the coin. How can we connect with people while also connecting to some extent with the Google algorithm? So yeah, that's a really good way to think of it. And also the buyer persona video that Dale mentioned will help with that, because it will help you identify any questions that you haven't thought of that your potential customers might be asking. So yeah, that's definitely a good thing, a good way to treat your copy and your website.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Regain Hearing, who we've been doing some work with, and we've got that social proof, which I was talking about earlier. The form, now the change page, is still there. It's always present. So that was the UX removal hearing tests. Same again, the form is always present. There's also a live chat, which is always handy. Book a hearing test consultation today. Even just a button is not immediately available when you load your website. You know, that above the fold area. So you said that you offer a consultation. Let's make it much clearer. And then as we go down, we've got the USP bar, top rated local business. We've got these USP boxes as well. So local areas for London, top rated on Google reviews, a repetition of the social proof to really just be convincing that this is the website to go through or the business to go with. And then how we take that copy and make it feel less busy is to just do simple things like a simple header and an image, and then you reverse it or you break it up into little paragraph boxes. One thing that Gabriel mentioned in the comments, which I love, was you see them like a nice and warm person. So a video with you introducing yourself and talking about the business, I think would be amazing. I could not agree more. There's a huge personal connection that can really help with accountancy and finance in general. I'm thinking of an accountant I used here in Edinburgh, and that was one of the convincing parts. And for me was I could immediately see who I was going to be dealing with. And it let me connect with them because I knew it was a small operation, and I wasn't just like a number in a filing cabinet. They knew my story a bit more.
Absolutely.
Like I know somebody we've worked with previously, RS Accountancy. Their owner has always been like the face of the company. So they used to do like, I don't know if they still do, but a daily blog post or a daily piece of content, like thought leadership, always putting themselves out there. Their CTAs are really obvious, and you know you see them because of how minimal the website is. You see that there's the call-us option, you see there's a free no obligation quote, and the landing pages are pretty simple. There's bullet points used, that call to action box is always here on the right hand side as well. You know, there's a lot to like about this, but the face, actually seeing who you're going to be working with, even if you end up working with their team, somebody within the team, but your initial contact might be with Russell, can make a huge impact on your conversion rate.
No, definitely. Absolutely. Excellent.
And just as a last thing as well, I can see just from your video here that your phone seems to be pretty good quality. So if you're not in a position now where you could like get a camera or anything like that, you can actually accomplish a lot like with your mobile phone, because even though you're like recording live now, I can see that the quality is really good, so you could create something really personal. Yeah, we've got I was going to say we've got a video of Tim on our website, though he did say he doesn't like that thumbnail.
I can tell you now that the videos we had before this were bang average, and it was just to have something up there. And over the years, we've just added a better video as conversion rate has improved, as we've had more clients and things have just been good for us. We then, upgraded Tim's office from just a simple grey background wall to a nice little office that he does our videos in now.
And
so
his confidence
even
has
now,
grown in those videos too. If you compare it
massively.
with ones from a few years ago, we almost chuckle. He looks like a different person just in terms of his posture and stuff. So if the first one isn't great, don't worry, it will come with time.
No, definitely. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, Matt, I hope that's been helpful to you. We're going to move on to our next website and our next guest now. So again, thank you so much for coming along, and hopefully see you in the comments shortly as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time.
Absolute pleasure. Take care of yourself.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Super. Whoa, Jess.
Fix my exposure and it isn't working. It's not happening. It really didn't work, did it?
Return trip from the sun.
Indeed.
Fantastic. Cool. So we do have another website lined up. Don't forget, if you are active in the chat today, we'll be giving a copy of our book away, as always. But our next website, I'm just going to bring up here. It's going to be, let's highlight it just here.
Yes. Perfect.
If you're enjoying the stream today, don't forget you can submit your website using the form in the description here on YouTube on our Exposure Ninja Live YouTube channel. But if you're watching us on LinkedIn and Facebook, you can also find that link down there somewhere. And we'll be doing half an hour of as quick as we can live website reviews at the very end. Or if you want to be on a future live stream the week after next, we're doing the same format. You just have to submit your website then, and we will give it a little look through. But this week and today, our final guest is Tony. Hello, Tony.
Hi. Oh, well, that's perfectly timed because just at that moment, my earpods that I've listened to you all the way through have just cut out. Can you hear me okay?
Absolute classic. We
terrific.
can hear you.
I know, yes, exactly that. Isn't that wonderful? I've enjoyed doing that, and I know, but now I'm talking to the laptop. So there you go. Thank you for bringing us up. I can remind you, Dale, that I sent you a screenshot of the way the website was just recently, so that might sort of come in useful because I'd like to compare and contrast.
Absolutely. We can do that.
But I guess you're going to bring it up at some point. Precursor security is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity for small to large companies. We've got clients of all sizes. It's a really competitive industry. There are some. It's a bit like your own from a marketing point of view. There are thousands of testing companies and cybersecurity consultancies, from one-man bands to major, large companies and so on. And so we have to stand out in that arena. So it's always difficult getting the message about. The vast majority of companies that we want to talk to aren't even thinking about their cybersecurity. And then there are a whole bunch that do think about it, and when they think about it, they then have to go find somebody to go and do it. So we're a little small to go and educate the whole market on why you should do cybersecurity, because there are a lot of people trying to do that. But we are trying to get the basic message across, like all agencies, all consultancies and so on. Basically, until you've tried it, you don't know the difference between us and all of those other people who say, hey, we're brilliant, we've got great people, we love, we're attention to detail, all of those things that people put on websites, and you can't tell until you actually work with them. So that's effectively the message and the background that we're trying to get across.
Okay,
but
I'm going to do a little comparison between the website before and the website today.
Yeah.
So this is how it looked before. This is the screenshot you showed me from the way back.
Yeah, that was an iteration. There's a slightly newer one that I took from last month that I also sent you, but it's in essence it only changes the text slightly. Basically the website was roughly this a message that said, we are security specialists, people choose us for this reason. And I have to tell you, in thanks to all of your great people, well, in fact, that was the one immediately prior to the live one you're going to show. So
Right. Okay.
this was basically, we find more things than other people. People choose us because we do far more. There's a lot of people who run automated scripts and things like that. We don't do that. Well, we do that as well, but we also do manual testing and so on. So people tend to use us. Oh, hi, Freddie. Freddie did the original live review. This website reflected a lot of your feedback and a lot of the videos. And I've listened to Tim for more hours than either of us would care to think about. But the advice has been brilliant. You can't
Excellent.
see the on the screenshot. You can't see the fact that the contact details were in the main header and all of those things that I've added because of you. So there you go. Now this was a little bit cluttered, and I think we've gone too far the other way because we've taken the sort of basic message that says, so very quickly you can look at this and go, okay, that's what you do. That's what your differentiator is. We kind of struggle with who do we do it for, because we don't want to say small and medium because we've got some very large clients, but most of our business is in, the medium of small to medium. We had a big event that we were running in Manchester, so I just used the real estate there to highlight it. It did make it a little bit cluttered. And I think that drove the sort of reason to suddenly switch back to. So we've stripped it all out. And my concern here is we've stripped it a little bit too far.
Right. Okay.
Your thoughts?
Can I ask, what are conversion rates? You don't have to say the actual number, but what's the conversion rate of this new design compared to the previous one like?
So this is very new, and we're probably not good enough at conversion rate. And one of the questions actually I was going to ask you, not so much that we're not measuring conversion rate. So for example, a long time ago, first iteration of the website, I had a form in that place, but nobody ever filled it out. So therefore I used the real estate for other things. And so we're just getting to the point of trying to measure conversion rate, but it's the micro conversions that actually have been the difficulty of what do we measure. When you say conversion rate, it would be fine if we said, well, people fill the form out or they contact sales or whatever. That's the ultimate aim. But I kind of still have a feeling that we lack shorter steps in conversion, if you will.
Okay. I got a couple of things I want to say, but Jess, I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk because I've been doing so much talking.
No,
Sorry,
it's
Jess.
fine. It's fine. It feels like one of those streams where I'm just learning so much. I'm just taking everything in, which is nice. And it's a nice break from the blog that I'm writing. So the first thing that I would say, just as a general, this is me looking at your website. Before I'll let Dale handle more of the conversion rate stuff that you've just addressed because he's way more of an expert than me. But I'm just going to go based on visuals. Have to say, I actually really like the image at the back. Dale might argue with me, but I really like it. I don't normally like a moving image behind stuff, but I really like this. It's just, it's nice.
It's nice and simple.
Yeah, I really like it. The one thing that I am a bit overwhelmed with is that we have your logo and then we have your logo, but bigger. And I do think that space, that's the second logo, the one with the color, the precursor, could actually be taken up with, cybersecurity experts. Then your eye is immediately drawn to cybersecurity experts. And then afterwards, they'll be like, precursor, which will be pretty much immediately be above that in the header. Sorry, Dale's fiddling about as he always does.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just think it sort of, rather than the name of your brand being front and center, it takes a secondary seat to, this is the awesome thing that we do. We do cybersecurity. We do that thing. We're experts in that thing you keep hearing about on the
Nobody knows
news.
the brand, so we're lucky. We don't get that much traffic, so we're lucky if people have got to this. So that if they have got to it, they kind of don't need to know brand,
Yeah, and it is good that they can see that, in the header, and then they'll be like, right, I'm remembering Precursor as the company. And I think I have to say, I think your logo looks really swish. I think it looks really nice. But I do think, what are you doing, Dale? He's going on his own little adventure. But I think, like I said,
sorry, I'm just looking for. I'm I'm trying to think of like a really. This is the kind of thing I spend like half an hour doing, an hour, like looking for just the perfect heading. So I'm just trying to find the perfect heading to write here.
Got
as a
you,
replacement
got
for
you.
the logo.
But
Well,
yes,
my previous versions have iterated through. I mean, the one that you showed as the image was our mission is to secure your business, which is just a play on words, of course, because we do want to secure your business, but we want to give you
yes.
security. Yes, thank you.
Yes, of course. But unfortunately, it loses you a bit because I'm like, hang on a minute, is that cybersecurity? Is it physical security? Is it cameras? So I think definitely the focusing on that cybersecurity, like I said, even if people, you sort of flagged a concern that people don't know that they need your services, but they've likely heard of cybersecurity before, heard about all the breaches that are happening, etc., etc. So I do think that could be. I just think it's such a small thing that really could be a big change and really helps people understand even further what you do. And I have to say, I was really pleased because my brain had zoned out for a moment. So when Dale was showing your original website, I was like, I'm not looking at that on my other screen. That's a totally different website. And I was thinking of all these notes to make. And then when I saw your that was the previous website, that was quite exciting to see.
So basically, you think we've sort of stripped it back too far. We've lost that. It's somewhere between the old one and the new one is probably the right thing.
Yeah, I think so. A little bit more about what you do, as like Dale is included here, certified cybersecurity solutions. It's telling you exactly what you do straight away, and it's giving a bit of that social proof and that trust. Because how do I know that you're actually going to get in all my files and steal my data, I suppose? So having that certification is really nice. And of course, if you do have any customer testimonials, which I think you do a little bit further down, I know that above the fold on my screen, it says what our customers say about our security consultancy, which is very, very nice to see. We know, that we love seeing people with like good, testimonials and good social proof. So, I think there's a lot of good here. You could maybe tighten up the if you're concerned section, the bit that says like if you're concerned about your organization's security. I suppose it's one of those where it's like, how could you say this in fewer words? So concerned about your organization's security, fill out this form. And then you've got the great stuff about a free, remote, no obligation initial consultation. As much as it's a lot of words, there's a lot of objection handling there too. Because it's nice to know that I don't have to come somewhere. You don't have to come to me. It's free. You're not going to chase me because it's no obligation. So yeah, that's all good stuff there. But I just think you could tidy it up just that tiny bit more. So yeah, I hope some of that was helpful. Also, I have to say, last thing, I love that quote that you have of their technical experience is second to none. Really, really, really like that. It just adds that extra bit of social proof without having to scroll down, which I really
it's always
really
difficult
like.
in the cyber industry. People don't want to be attributed. They're all real quotes, and they're all and as you said on the testimonials on the next block down, that scrolls with different testimonials. They're all real, but people don't want to go, hey, my company had a security problem and these guys fixed it. And it just doesn't work that way.
Absolutely no. I think that's really, really important.
Dale's been very busy finding the.
He is. Absolutely.
You downloaded the brochure.
Absolutely. I have to say, so Gabrielle put something in the chat. Create a request a free website security review, which actually is kind of interesting because I don't know how much you can tell about a website security from just looking at them. But you do absolutely have the potential to have people apply for a review and then you send them back and say, these are the 20 things that I could have stolen from your website. How do you feel? So that is actually, Gabrielle, that's a really good point.
Thank you. That's a good one because obviously one of the things we do, one of our biggest pieces of services is a front-end website review because they can be hacked. If you have anything on your website that allows users to interact, that can all be used to attack you and that sort of stuff. I mean, even a simple form. People don't realise that people will come along and post in the message section. They'll post code that will run. So you have to protect those things. That sort of thing. So yes, there is an element of that. There's a similar one we can do with email. people's email is often easier.
See, that really, stuff like that really puts people in that position that they might not have been in yet, where they have to face it head on and see, actually, this is what could happen. And I think that is a really
I found the difficulty, Dale. I can see you playing with the consultation call and the form, but in the past, people have not done that. And when I've Googled it, in fact, possibly even one of your own webinars will talk about, this is a strong call to action. A free consultation is never considered to be free. Our customers just go, yeah, you're going to ask me loads of questions and then say, you could buy these things from me. So it's a tough one. I'm trying to find other useful things that people can request. So, we've got checklists and all sorts of things that we use in-house when we're doing the reviews. They would be let's share that with you and so on. There's an element of that.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think that you have to have a call to action for different parts of the funnel. So people who are at the very early stages doing their informational searches, where they come through to your blog posts, they need a completely different offer to people who actually further in, maybe in the middle. They're like, okay, I know I need a company, but I can't really say which one I need. Okay, I'm going to look at 5 different websites and see which one, showcasing themselves in the best way. There's a different call to action there than somebody's like, okay, I need a company. I'm going to settle on one of these 3. Which one has the best pitch? So I know that I just need to submit my details to them and they can call me up. So yeah, you really have to know. And that's why you so often see, I was talking earlier today, I don't know if you saw in the beginning of the stream, we're talking about having 2 buttons available, where there's the one for people who immediately know that they want to get in contact with you. And there's a secondary offer, which is, okay, I don't really know, so I'll get this downloadable checklist, as you've mentioned. Checklists can be fantastic too. Just thinking about like other websites as I scroll through the web, one that stood out to me last year or the year before was Netstar, which is now part of Air IT Group. I'm not like a big fan of this above the fold area, but I love the simplicity of it. Learn more, it doesn't work for me. Excuse me, but they've kind of tackled some of the things like the USPs of cybersecurity solutions, ID Support London, video. I don't recall seeing a video on here as I scrolled through. The blog,
we've been talking about recording a video for as long as I can remember. So yeah, one of these days. We've got a great hacking video that shows you how easily we can take over your account.
Amazing. I would have that on. If you're not confident in this form, or if you just want to try something different, you could A/B test it and just put PPC traffic towards it, so you get a very quick quick data and then resolution. Have the video on the right hand side of here's how, figure out how long it takes to hack someone, but see the title of the video could be how you can hack your website in less than 60 seconds or something like that. And then that's going to draw people's attention to it and gets them started within your funnel. Just getting somebody to watch the video is already they're deeper into your funnel than they are into somebody else's funnel. Exactly. And then you mentioned about the checklist before. This is an area where Netstar do quite well. Is they have this like backup cold call to action, I like to call it, where people haven't decided by this far down that they want to go with us. They're going to request a contact, a call, or anything like that. An ebook like this, which you've got an ebook there, but maybe we just need to change the way in which it's pitched. So again, that comes down to understanding your customer, but also being happy to test different calls to actions at the top of the page. Maybe instead of the form, the ebook is something better for you to have, because then you get their contact details and you can just email them a couple of times and say, did you read it? Do you have any questions about it? Or you can go put them through an email cycle of like a lessons. For example, here are 7 lessons you need to know about cybersecurity for your business. The first email, this is lesson 1. The second email, this is lesson 2. And by the end of it, they've not only had your ebook and they've become more invested in your company, they've also been nurtured along to maybe a consultation call at the end. And the great thing about that is that it's all automated and can be done with a company like Keep, which is what we use, and kind of takes you away. So you're actually working on perhaps sales calls or improving the website, your marketing, and so.
I get very mixed messages about gating content. You would still gate that that one, or give the first one, make the first one available, and then gate the rest, that sort of thing?
That comes down to how well you know your target market. So, and it also comes down to how far people are in the sales funnel as well. So early content, like that informational content, I try and avoid gatekeeping it where possible. And when it comes down to content later on, where you might start to give people white papers, statistical data, stuff like that, then I might start to gatekeep that, because there's a deeper amount of information there, but also the people further down the funnel are way more invested and are so close to making that decision on, okay, this is the company for me, that it's better to have the information that you can work with them and nurture them than taking the risk that they
don't get me wrong,
never get in contact with you.
I've kind of always led away from gating, because we don't have, it's not like you're coming to us as the ultimate cybersecurity guru. We are, but we just don't have that name yet. So there's a question of, I'd rather have 100 people download it and 50 of them read it than 5 people give me their email. It's that sort of balance, if you will.
Yeah, that's where a good nurturing program comes into it. So if you are giving it to people for free, have a secondary. So you could turn it into like a kind of squeeze page, or you can turn it into, I think of like ClickFunnels, where the initial pitch is you get a free book, but you just have to pay postage and packaging. Oh, whilst you're here, you could also get this for $5 instead of $500 or something like that. So at the very end of that ebook, which is something that I've done with some of our ebooks, is you read through it, and then the final couple of pages are, okay, now you've read this, here's a free program on how to do email marketing. Here's a free like something related, or the next lesson, or the next ebook, or something that's going to keep nurturing them and making them more confident that you're the business for them.
But keep on adding value.
Absolutely, always. In our case, the leads that become clients are the ones that have been active with us for the longest period of time. Like sometimes our lead cycle can be a year. We had a lead come through recently who'd been listening to a podcast a long time, had actually met us at an event. They first met with us in like 2017, 2018. But they've just always been engaged with our content, whether that's email, podcasts in their instance. So if there's some way of you nurturing people who are not yet ready, which is most people at the very beginning of the sales funnel, then they're going to be in your nurturing program and not in somebody else's. So
I can't wait until I have the marketing budget to be able to work with you guys. But in the meantime, thank you so much.
It's going to happen.
I have to say, all of the advice has always been brilliant. I love listening. I'm not blowing smoke. It's been a pleasure. When you want your internal systems tested for security, you know where to go.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. That's incredibly kind of you to say so. I'm really glad that we've been able to help you a little bit more today as well. So yeah, again, thank you so much for coming on.
I'll take a screenshot of your newly designed webpage and give it a go.
Fantastic.
Of course.
Please do.
And this live stream will still be available, so you can come back and watch it for the advice,
I'll take it off
etc.
that later on.
Yeah, you're all good.
Excellent.
Great stuff. Thank you very much.
Tony.
Thanks, everyone.
See you again in the chat. Take care.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Super. So, Jess, we've got about 25 minutes left to whiz through a couple of websites. So let me just fire up the submissions. And while you're doing that, is there anything you'd like to promote to our lovely friends watching?
Yes, my blog. No, it's not out yet. It's not out yet. But basically, I'm writing a blog about Google Analytics 4 for beginners. I've put a lot of time in it. And if you're scared by the thought that it's over 100 pages, please don't be, because it's going to be, you can see which sections you want to look at. And it's just, I just want to reiterate for the 100th time, it's so important that you pay attention to Google Analytics 4 now. Even if you don't want to make the transition until July 2023 when Google forces you, because it is going to be a big shock to your system. So just make sure you are aware. We've also got a live stream on Friday, which I'm super excited about, talking about one of my favorite subjects, TikTok, and how businesses can market themselves on TikTok. This is going to apply to everyone. and we're going to include things for, even if you are a cybersecurity company, you know, you will be able to you'll be able to learn from it. But yeah, it's going to be a really, really good live stream. I'm really, really excited. I have been how would I call it? I've been using TikTok since it was Musical.ly, just before they moved over. Worked with them previously. I think it's a great app. I know. I think it's a great app. It's, you know, they have like 1 billion monthly active users. So yeah, super, super important. And also Gabrielle was asking, is there going to be like a tutorial or live stream for GA4? We will be doing a live stream just to give you, if we wanted to do a live stream to teach you how to do the whole thing, we would be here for a week. So we'll give you a top level view of it, and we'll also be producing a video series to help you with some of the more in-depth things. But we've got, there's a lot in Google Analytics 4, and it's going to be a big, big, big shock to your system if you haven't used it before. Everything is called something new. Things have been removed, things have been moved, things have been moved about, and I'm quite lucky in that I used Google Analytics, Universal Analytics for about a year. So I'm coming into this very, very fresh-faced, very new to it. And so I think maybe I've actually got more of a positive opinion of it than other people have. So yeah, it should be a blast. We've got so much good stuff coming up soon, Dale, right? It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Phil asking a really good question. Is the TikTok app secure though? Who knows? Maybe Tony can come back and tell us more about that.
Indeed, it's one of those that seems to have hit the rumor mill, and I don't know if that is because people have preconceived ideas based.
Let's not dwell on that. Let's get on to the first website.
But yeah, let's do websites. Sorry, got carried away.
Fantastic, cool. So.
You've muted, Dale. Not quite sure how you did that.
How did I do that? I was already talking. I just love pressing this mute button, clearly.
The Stream Deck. It's too exciting.
Absolutely. So fun. So Business Centers and Missouri Inc. They are not getting enough leads, but it looks like their revenue, their business is doing quite well. So how can we help them a little bit further? So we'll make your life easier. Call today. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Call to action. Is the call to action in the right place? I mean, it could be better. Let's just zoom out a little bit. I need to figure out how to set up this monitor properly so everything's squished.
For those who don't know, Dale has a vertical monitor, and he loves it, and that's why it always looks funny. I just thought I'd point that out.
Sorry. Anyway, enough fun. Cool. So this area of the fold is not really doing enough for me. So what communication issues are you facing? You'll be surprised by what we'll solve for our clients. Okay, there's probably a better sales way of putting that. And contact us is just not a strong call to action. That means that I've already done enough research that I'm confident that you're the business for me. I found all the social proof that I need. I found all the business proof that I need that you are a trusted company. No, I'm probably not at that stage. So early stage sales funnel stuff, like people who are doing their informational searches, they may be looking for blog posts, guides, stuff like that. Maybe they're searching for business center near me. Who knows? Business center near me searches are probably going to be a little further down the funnel. They probably still don't know which business center to go with or which company to go with. So there's got to be a stronger argument here that you're the business for them, and also that your call to action, what you're offering, is stronger as well. So personally, I think that might be part of the problem here in terms of lead generation. A pointless slider because it doesn't slide automatically. Learn more. No. Okay, now it's sliding. Now I've hit it once. Okay. Sliders are a no-go. Never use a slider. Just make your first initial pitch really strong. If you have multiple things to say, have it further down. It's like the next area can be talking about those other things, unless you want to be, you want to go further on who you are and what you offer. So you got some USPs here as well. Could those USPs, could they be in a bar beneath here? Yes, they could. Is it going to improve conversion rates that much? Maybe 0.3%, 0.5%, who knows? But could they be stated earlier on? Yes. So initial reason that you're not getting enough leads is because you're not asking for leads in the right way, would be my assessment.
Completely agree. So for me, when I had a quick look at this website earlier, I just didn't know what they offered. I was really, really confused. And I think there could be a bit to do with being more succinct. So I feel like I say this on a lot of live streams, but often the person landing on your website who's part of the business isn't necessarily the person that has an understanding of what a business center is. It will often be like the office assistant, the PA, who will be landing on your website and then having to make heads or tails of it. And so landing on your first homepage, I wouldn't necessarily be able to figure out exactly what it is that you offer and exactly what it is you're doing to make our lives easier, which is a little bit of a vague CTA related to the phone number. So I definitely think there needs to be a bit more refinement of what it is you do. I did notice something that I was quite unique and not really something we have to worry about here in the UK is that you offer it just popped up on my screen. You offer natural disaster stuff to do with natural disasters, which sounds really, really interesting. And I think could actually not necessarily take center stage, but it's a shame that you have to wait for 3 scrolls of the slider to change to it. And the last thing that I would say is it is really nice to be able to potentially get a quote or get something similar. I don't know what Dale is gesturing to, but it is nice to be able to get a quote or get a call back, because often I used to be a production assistant / an office assistant. I would have 6 of these websites open at once and be trying to figure out who's the best one. And for me, I want to be able to quickly say, yeah, call me back, please. Where's the call to action above the fold? I was kind of getting onto that, Dale. I was moving along at my own pace, which is kind of what I landed on there, which is the get a quote. But it probably wouldn't be get a quote for this business. It would be framed a little bit differently. Where though, maybe he's very annoying today, everyone. It's really annoying me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Meant that kindly. But yeah, so I think I think that is something that could definitely be covered, in that we do need a bit more, not necessarily the contact us, but something else that gets us into that funnel, gets us learning a bit more, whether it is something to do with get a quote, get a call back. I think this kind of business really does well with get a call back, especially because you offer 24-hour answering service. So hopefully I can get a call back any time of day. But yeah, like I said, with anything like this, you've got a bunch of pages open. You want to learn more about each company. The people who get back to you fastest and give you a call back or respond to your email if there's a form with a call to action above the fold, they're the people you're more likely to go with. If it's normally, when I was in these situations, it'd be can you find somebody by the end of the day, please? So if people haven't got back to me, then it's not going to be them, is it? It's going to be the two between the two people who got back to me. And then I'm going to be looking at social proof and wanting to see the people that you've helped, learning a bit more about that. So anyway, Dale's got our next website up, I believe. He's moving everything around. He'll be back in a moment, I'm sure. There we go. There we go. That looks nice.
I had to switch monitors because the framing is all wrong.
Because I was bullying you, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Now this thing is all small. I can't see it. Just can't.
Oh no, your monitors are too big. It's so sad.
Oh dear. Splendid. So, Hayes and Javis, your problem is that you're not getting enough leads. Jess, why do you reckon that is?
I don't really know what to do. It's a bit much, isn't it? I've just landed on the website and I'm immediately faced with explore your world. I'm already overwhelmed. I don't know if I want to explore the whole world. And I know this sounds really excessive, and I know everybody watching normally thinks, Jess, you're being a bit overboard, because I don't think that when I go on a website, but the little bit of your brain at the back does. And right now, number one, I need a bit more help. There needs to be a little bit more for people who maybe need a little bit more help. That's the first one. Dale is well-traveled, so he might have a totally different perspective on this, but I'm not, and I'm a big wuss when it comes to traveling. Second of all, you do have your Trustpilot reviews, but it'd be nice to see a few more of them. You've got so much room. You've got so much room on this page, so much that's being taken up by
here.
Rocks.
I can't show you because it won't let me do it, but put them underneath the search box.
Yes, that would be so good. So good, because to me, I am scared of going on holiday. I'm scared of everything. I want to know that you have helped people who are unsure about their holidays, who are new, not necessarily new to going on holiday, but need a little bit more reassurance. And as you see, Dale's shown us right here, every step of the way, that you're going through our review, every page that you're on, you're being told we've got 4.9 on Google and 4.8 on Trustpilot. We also have the little caveat on your site as well, is that it looks like you have 5 stars, which if you're regular, you would have heard this from us before. If you're not, this might be new. 5 stars isn't necessarily trustworthy, which sounds very silly, but that 4.8 to me is a lot more appealing than your 5 stars. Also, the balance is a little bit off, in my opinion. I'm quite surprised that there's
it could just be that good
compared to great. Yeah, I know completely. But I seem to find that people say, when I worked at like KFC, for instance, and people give us feedback, they give us 4 stars and then say fantastic food. You know, there'll be no criticism, but they're docked a star for some reason. Hence why I'm just surprised that there isn't more great reviews as opposed to excellent. That's just me. Right. But yeah, I think having like a review bit below that says like we've had this many reviews, because you could have 5 stars in one review and we wouldn't know. So having, you know, we've had this many reviews, like on our website, that has given us a score of 4.8 could be really, really good. Now Dale might disagree with me here.
Okay, so the complaint here is that there's not enough leads. I think we could be a little bit more straightforward with Explore Your World. I think you could just be specific and say search for a country or search for a city. Like, I don't know whether I should be searching for Bari, for example. Let's search for Bari. It doesn't return anything. So neither of those 2 places are in Bari. I can tell you now. Bari's in Italy. So if you want to go to Italy, okay, India and Australia. So neither of those 2 things match, which means I'm going to do that. I'm going to close the website. So you need to have, first of all, you need to go through all the different kind of searches that people are going to be going for. Like when people search for holidays, destinations, you need to make sure that all these places are at least covered in some kind of form. So Europe, you're only covering Iceland. That's fine, but you need to give people like backup options. So say that we don't currently, you have like a 404 kind of page, similar to that, which says we don't currently offer a trip to Italy, but you might like these other destinations instead. Like here's somewhere else you could travel to instead, because these 2, it just confuses me. I didn't search for India, I didn't search for Australia. I don't have any idea why these 2 have come up. So yeah, start thinking about like destinations, popular destinations that people are searching for, and do those kind of searches. Test out your your lead funnel journey. So something we do on our own website is put yourself in the shoes of the person who you hope to convert and just do the searches. So in this case, let's just change it to India because we know that India is covered. Okay, at this point, what would somebody do? What are the key elements that they're looking for? How do they differentiate one tour from another? Let's say, okay, luxury golden triangle tour India sounds about right. Let's look on this one. Is all this information above the fold necessary? I already know like which one it is because you already told me on the previous page. Perhaps there's more information you can give above the fold here, but let's say we just scroll down. I'm getting a bit bombarded by text. Okay, now if I'm spending $2,200 per person, I want to be reassured with information about what the tour contains, how I'm going to be looked after, where I'm going to be going, all that kind of information. So yeah, there is going to be a dependence on text, but how do you position that? Like you could do so much more. Like this start the journey already tells me more than everything else I've reached at this point. Move that higher up, make that the introduction. So you could have like this is way too text heavy. You could have just a short heading and just go straight into this is the itinerary. So day 1 you go here, day 2 you go here. If you want to embellish it with some really enthusiastic like travel writing, you could do that in this actual like itinerary itself. So you've got some here. Yeah, I would also point out that as you're scrolling down, I'm not really a fan of like this all being central. So this is aligned center. It makes it kind of hard to read. It could be bullet pointed as well. So you've got various points that you could just take this and bullet point it. We stop here. This is why this place is important. But you should definitely have a book now button. So you're scrolling down. I've already scrolled down quite a lot. Give me a book now button or start planning. You've got it up here. You should already, if people are convinced by this point, give them an opportunity to book with you. Don't make me scroll so far down. yeah, that might be why leads are not converting, because the lead journey for this website for me just isn't there.
Yeah,
It's just
completely
not.
agree
Gabrielle,
with you.
yes, video.
Yes,
video.
and also, especially with travel, you know, a picture says 1,000 words, and I did notice there was like some keywords on the upper right hand side that was to do with like type of holiday, and it said like adventurous or travel, or like, I don't know, it just felt like some kind of buzzwords. You could actually be representing those within your images. If you're showing like a trail up a mountain, people know that they're going to be having an active, adventurous holiday. If you're showing, you know, luxury locations and like, you know, city centers, they know that they're going to be in for more of like that more sort of tourist trap kind of area. So there's definitely a lot that you can represent in your photos. So yeah.
Okay, I'm going to quickly whiz through a couple of these travel websites and just see how they've been designed. Now, I know a couple of these, they've been around for a long time, and I've helped them with some of their marketing previously by publishing blog posts on my blog post with backlinks to them for a small fee.
Nice.
Yeah, back in the day. But yeah, just look at the design differences between this one and this one. So I mean, let's just go back to destinations. Let's go to Indian subcontinent. Let's just try India subcontinent. Let's try India itself. So yeah, the design differences between this and, let's say, G Adventures. So if you want Indian tours, there's a bit of information here, different tour options as well. Like, I'm not a big fan of not being able to read that text so much, but there's travel information here, so what you need to know, or the reviews are easily available, tour photos from the travelers
really
as well.
nice.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I love
that's really,
that.
really nice.
That's so smart. Like this, currency converter,
That's
everything
so
you could possibly want to know when planning your trip is on this singular page. Tips on tips, 10% for waiters, 1 to 2 USD.
That's so cool.
This is
really,
a brilliantly
really cool.
designed page. A cold weather clothing, essentials, electricity. This is brilliant.
This immediately, I'm even just seeing this for like what you've showed me here, where the screen is smaller. I'm already like, I could travel to India, and I'm a big wuss when it comes to traveling. And I've seen this, and I immediately feel like safe and comfortable. And now I'm like, well, I'm going to book with G Adventures because they're the people who have made me feel safe and comfortable. And I know if I have any problems, they have the answers, whether it's on their website or if I ring them, I'm in the middle of India, I'm crying, then they are going to help me. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I've been on a couple of very, very budget, badly planned holidays where I feel totally unsafe and totally left out in the lurch. Whereas with this, know exactly what I'm getting, feel safe and comfortable. So yeah, no complaints on that website there.
It 100% gives me the confidence that they know what they're talking about.
Yes.
Which is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Kuoni, who they're not a cheap travel company at all. They put themselves at like the top end of like, how much you no, I don't know if it's necessarily a luxury company, but definitely like a better company than just going with Thomas Cook or something like that.
Yeah.
Different experiences. But their page, they put their people forward, so who you could be talking with. You've got filters as well, so you can find if it goes necessarily to the places within India that you want to go to as well. The imagery tells you exactly which part of the country or which things you're going to see. By the way, how fantastic does that building look?
That looks awesome.
I went to some tea fields in Malaysia. There's a place called the Cameron Highlands, right? And it just looks like very similar to that. Mm-hmm. Tea fields are beautiful.
Yeah,
Kerala, I've heard amazing things about. I so would love to go to India. Yeah.
Have you not been?
No, I've not been. We were going to go, and then complicated. We had to come back. So yeah, let's have a look at TY. So India to holidays. Pretty useless image above the fold. Yeah, slightly better design in terms of like what is being offered. Simplified name, classic India, icons of India.
Every picture is the Taj Mahal though, which is a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, but what to expect? Local guides, authentic experiences. So these are unique selling points. Great. Once again, phone number if you're not sure, if you can't book it online, you want somebody to speak to. Here's a backup option for people who want to call instead, especially when it's a high value item. That destination search box is always there too. That's really well done. View offer, well, that's smart too. 15% off hundreds of departures. Really clever to use an offer there as well as tours of India. Okay, yeah. So discovery, cycling, walking. So different types of trip being offered in category buckets as well. My first thing would for this website, if you want to increase conversions, do competitor research. Look what other people are doing and see how
100%.
you could do the same. So we've got like some really important badges here about like atoll protected and which recommended. You've got, you know, number of reviews displayed here as well. Beautiful imagery too. Category buckets. Yeah, I would just go and travel advice, best time to visit. That's really, really clever as well.
Yeah,
Request
that is
a brochure.
really, really
So
good.
that's another thing. You can have a brochure option, or you can do it as everything you need to know about traveling to India, and rather than as a brochure. So don't be like, oh, here's our brochure. You can scan through it and see what you like. You know, see what you like. Give people a full like breakdown. And this is everything you need to know about traveling to India. What you could be buying, what you could be doing when you're there. Cameron Highlands. That's where Jim Thompson disappeared. I do not know where that is. Who that is? Sorry. You are absolutely welcome. Yeah. If you want to come back again in the future, once you've made some changes to the website, Donovan, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We'd love to do that. Do a follow-up series and see how we've the difference between today and in the future. So yeah, there's an exit pop-up here, which I've not had from Hazen Travel. At least I don't recall seeing so. Yeah. I think my first thing to do would be some competitor research and do some comparisons between how everyone else is doing it and then redesign your page. Yeah, we've got some social proof here as well. Similar destinations to India. So again, coming back to earlier when I searched for Italy, they didn't have anything. Offer me similar destinations. You do offer. Intrepid, a bit wordy. Yeah. Right, so we're coming to the end of the stream now. We've only got a couple of minutes left. I don't really think we've got any time to review any other websites.
No, it's gone so quick. My goodness.
I do love doing these streams.
Same. It's great. It's lovely talking to, you know, website owners as well. Obviously, we saw a few today, but if you're the kind of person who's seen a few of our streams and you're hesitating, as you can see, we're not mean. We love to have you on. We love to be able to connect with you and hear the specific things that we, you know, that you want to know about your website and the things that
my days.
The exact concerns that you have and what you found that's worked and what you found that hasn't. For instance, when Tony came on, he said, I found that my form isn't converting. Whereas we're such advocates for forms, when we found that out, it gave us the opportunity to give other advice that we wouldn't normally necessarily give, right? Which I think is really, really great. And we could make some suggestions, for instance, the ebook and whatnot that we wouldn't have necessarily got if we hadn't had that one-to-one connection. It's just nice. We just love a chat. We love talking about what we talk about. And yes. Oh, thanks, Donovan. Much appreciated.
Share screen.
Appreciate you. You'll get there in the end, Dale. Don't worry. You've got it. I believe in you.
It's because I'm trying to do it in the other window.
I know. Honestly, it throws me off so much when I try and do pretty much anything while I'm live. So I can't really judge. I just like to take the mix sometimes. I'm actually nice, everyone. I'm sorry. If you think I'm nasty, I'm not. I'm a little bit nasty.
Cheers. Behind the scenes, you don't splendid. So we do have another stream coming up this week, which is going to be on Friday. It's about TikTok, which I know a lot of businesses or business owners, marketing managers, sales managers, business development people might be thinking, hey, TikTok's not for me. Well, you are incredibly mistaken, and Jess is going to explain exactly why this Friday at 1 p.m. British summertime. Make sure you don't miss out on that stream. I've just been looking at the presentation. It is beautiful. I've even downloaded some videos as well, so we can share some of the videos. You did. So we can be able to show you exactly the kind of content that people are doing, and we'll show you that you don't have to be a video editor or videographer or whatever you want to call it, cinematographer, blah blah blah, to be able to do it yourself.
Absolutely. And the last thing I want to add to that is that this short form video has become so popular that Instagram are using it. The Instagram reels are being pushed onto Facebook now for some creators, and YouTube do it. So if any of those three you thought, oh yeah, we use that really regularly, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, this will also apply to those in terms of short form video. So even though it says TikTok in big letters, if you're here and you think TikTok isn't for me, but short form video is, then it's also a great fit for you too. And it will just be fun because I just love it. So I'll talk so much and be really excited. So it'll motivate you to do something, even if it's not this.
Yeah. Just this one point alone is really valuable. 8.9 million people use TikTok in the UK in January this year, and their monthly active users is only going up.
Yes.
So yeah, if you want access to 8.9 million people, you want to use TikTok perhaps, or you might want to prioritize another channel, but at least be aware of how it works and decide if it fits your business. And I think you surprise yourself and that it is. So Jess, the next video that people can watch it on the replay, if you're watching this on the replay, is going to be about conversion rate optimization. So Jess, point to the box over here. I still haven't figured it out.
We'll be going over to that if you're watching on the replay, and if you're not, then you can just sit here confused while we end the stream.
Absolutely. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and I will see you all on Friday. Take care. Oh no, hang on.
What?
We didn't do a giveaway for the book.
We didn't, but I didn't want to say anything because I was wondering if that was on purpose.
No, but what do you know what I'm thinking of? Truthfully, I'm thinking of retiring the giveaway.
Oh, really?
I think most people have actually got one already. So, but I tell you what, I'll do it now, and we will. So sorry if you watch on the replay and I messed it all up. We're gonna fix that now. So,
we will indeed, and then we'll point again, and maybe this time we'll get it in the right direction. See, Gabrielle was even like, "Where's the book?"
There you go.
But yes, I understand.
This one, draw. Good luck, everyone. If you got it already, please tell me. Because the last time I tried to give one away, everyone already had a copy. So that's why I'm starting to think maybe we just don't give one away. Towards property, I'm Donovan. I'm quite sure you've got one already. So if not, I'm just going to hit draw again and let's see. I'll tell you what. If Phil, you've got yours, I'm going to hit one more time. And if it hits somebody... Daniel, I think you've got one too. Listen, Daniel, email me at dailyexpressionninja.com and tell me your address and your contact phone number, and I will make sure that one goes out to you. If you haven't yet, Gabrielle's got all of them. If you haven't yet got a copy and you're here today and you've been in the chat, so we've got Phil, Gabrielle, Daniel, Tony, who else is in here? Jess, Sam, Freddie. Listen, any of you email me at dailyexpressionninja.com and I will send you a copy to make sure you get one, because I really want to make sure you've all got one because you've all been fantastic. So again, let's do it again. For the replay watchers, click here to learn all about conversion rate optimization. It's been a pleasure. Take care of yourselves and we shall see you all on Friday. Take care and bye.
Bye.